Hey guys, and welcome back to some more rambling by Bozo Cow. Well, he holds down the right mouse button so that the cursor disappears. Just like last time, put down in the comments below if you know which game this was from the tournament, but it's obviously from Jaraci Cup #1. But let's talk about this tournament, shall we? What went well, whoa. What went well, what went poorly, and, just my thoughts on it in general. I think the games themselves, were really good. And it was fun, in my opinion, to see both how, really top tier players, but also just players in general react to the changes in the mod. And I think everyone really enjoyed it too. That was my take on it anyway. Do tell if you feel differently, if you felt like it was trash or something. I'll tell you what definitely did not go well in Jaraci Cup #1 though, was timing. Oh my goodness. First off, we scheduled the group stage over like a holiday weekend or something. But I was going to give 2 weeks for it anyway, so I was like, that shouldn't be a problem. People have time, they can play their games. We'll get them all in, right? And then that's not what happened. And then the mistake that I made was, hold up, is it Jaraci Cup 11 that was over holiday weekend, or was it Jaraci Cup 1? I think it was Jaraci Cup 1. But see, that's the point. It was so long ago, I can't even remember now. Anyway, that's the point where I made the mistake, though, which was to have lots of mercy and basically give people, however much time they needed to get their games in. That was not good, because obviously we ended up having a really long group stage. I'm talking like months, And so, yeah, like by the time the group stage was finished, and by the time the tournament ended, yeah, it was a good tournament, but it took way longer than it should have, and probably skewed the results pretty heavily because of that too. So, and we learned from it. So Jaraci Cup 12, we're gonna have like no mercy basically. In fact, not long after this video is posted, the group stage has to be finished, and then, we're going to just cut it off, even if games haven't been played yet. So, we learned, clearly. We learned our lesson, but hopefully anyway. But that was definitely a bit of a choke, and I think it was mostly on the organizers, mostly on me, to be honest, because I didn't want to let any games not get played because people didn't have time, I was like, no, that can't happen, that doesn't seem right, like, we can just give them a little bit more time, but a little bit turns into a lot, and then, things are just not good. In fact, several players entered the tournament late, actually. Like, I say several. I think it was Shrike, Maze, and Roby, right? I'm pretty sure. Ended up entering Jaraci Cup 1 pretty late. Which I was okay with, because the people who they were replacing hadn't played any games, or maybe they even flat out said they couldn't do it. One of the players actually ended up in the ER, like right at the beginning of the tournament. I won't say who, because he probably doesn't want that disclosed. Or she, you don't know. Point is, we were able to replace those players, but looking back on it, that's not really a good way to go, I don't think. We probably shouldn't have done that. That's my thought. How about the games themselves, though? I think they were a lot less build order based than Jaraci Cup 11 was, and that was the idea. That's what we wanted from the mod. Obviously this was kind of an experimental tournament. We wanted to see how does A-Game's mod that he's been working on so much stack up when it's put in a competitive environment where people are trying their best to win, they're trying their best to play optimally. How does it stack up? And I think the answer is excellently. We got some really good series between players. Didn't really feel coin flippy, like vanilla is. It's a lot less based on what opener you win with, and a lot more based on are you better than them or not, which is really what, a competition should be about. That's my view anyway. Tell me if you think differently again, but that's what I think happened, in which case I would say the mod was a big success. Not so much that we want to, like, stop playing vanilla. I mean, Jaraci Cup 12 is happening right now, yeah. But I think it was a big success. And I'm really excited for the second Jaraci Cup, which should be taking place sometime in July. Dang, that's crazy when you see that, like, the artifact score from this view. It just, like, ripples across the entire landscape. That's really cool. And I think there's a second artifact getting extracted right now, too. I guess I'll see that. Yeah. Oh, look at that. DOK is such a cool game, man. I just can't get over it. Anyway. What did I notice about the games? I think, railguns were a lot less prominently featured in the tournament. It's no secret that in 1v1 railguns are almost always used, yeah? And there's some players who don't, but it's almost like a gimmick, you know what I mean? Really big damage output, really big range. If you can keep them safe, they're golden. They have a lot of armor, so Strikecraft have trouble taking them out even when they do get on top of them. In fact, you can see that going on right over there as I say it. That's kind of funny. You know, so if you can defend them, which most really top-level players can, they're extremely good units. And the mod isn't like an anti-railgun mod or something, but it is definitely trying to address the fact that railguns are just used so extensively, you know, wants to get to the higher tech levels, like battle cruisers and assault cruisers and artillery or whatever, and I think it was successful in that. Sort of the coalition meta, if I would say there was one, was to, like, in CBC matches or whatever, was to go for AAVs and then into air. Galzian players felt like they could do without railguns. It was cool. I mean, it was like you didn't need these things necessarily, which is just really, I think, what the mod was trying to do. So, I think it was successful in that regard. It made the gameplay much more varied. There was a whole lot more stuff that you would see. And I'm pretty sure throughout this tournament we saw every single unit in play, except for Conf Siege, which I don't think any top-level Conf players were in the tournament, so it's not really so worrying. Wait, we did see Conf Siege, didn't we? In one of Blue's matches? I'm pretty sure we did, actually. Haha. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure we saw every unit in the game at some point in the tournament. And that, I think, is already like a huge victory for the mod. Basically what I'm saying, if I had to sum it all up, is the gameplay is a lot more varied, and it's a lot more fun, and I feel like it's a lot less based on, you know, coin flippy opening strategies and stuff like that. That's my summary, and it's still pretty long, but you get what I'm trying to say. I think this is obviously all of my thoughts that I've said so far, but I think it can be kind of reinforced by listening to what people said when they discovered Jaraci Cup 12 was a vanilla tournament. It was like a couple days before the tournament went live, and suddenly like 5 people were like, "Oh, I thought it was a mod tournament. Dang it!" They were like upset, you know, like not upset, mind you, but disappointed, kind of like they were looking forward to another Jaraci Cup essentially. That's awesome. I think that's a really good sign. If you're A game, hopefully you got a lot of, you know, hopefully you got a lot of information from this with which to tune up the next version of the mod. He's already working on that. I've been playing it a little bit with him. One thing that Jaraci Cup 1 made me realize, though, and I talked about this a bit near the end, was that even in the mod now, people still don't really know build orders terribly well when they're at like the lower level. And no one's really made good videos for like how to do that. I know Last Rites has a couple, but not many, and they're pretty outdated at this point. I don't know, it just feels like if there were build order videos out there, people would have a much easier time knowing what to do. And maybe, you know, we wouldn't see so many just like rollover games, but we'd have an easier way to bridge the gap between the newest players and the oldest, you know, the oldest players. So that's something that I'm going to do, is begin begin making build order videos so that people have a chance to see like what some build orders are that they can go for. I've actually got one in production right now. I just need to do it, I guess. You know how that is. But yeah, that should bridge the gap, I think, between the mid tier and the top tier. I'm always talking about these tiers. I've got this system going on in my mind. I could like make a video sometime talking about who I think is in which tier if you were interested, but oh, railguns on high ground there are gonna do pretty well, huh? Ouch. Yeah, okay, you know what? Because we're watching a Soban versus Coalition match here, might as well say, another thing I noticed about the tournament was that we got a lot more people playing Soban, didn't we? But we got very few playing Conf. The thing is, there's some Conf mains in the community, like Tomcat and Catharsis, but they weren't in Jaraci Cup 1 because they don't want to play on the mod, right? I finally felt like I was comfortable playing Galzian, which is my main, you know, against Coalition and Soban players, so I played Galzian, of course. So I think the reason we didn't see any Conf players is just because there weren't any in the tournament. I don't think it's indicative that the mod is imbalanced in that direction. Even so, though, talking to people like Tomcat or Catharsis, whatever, what they say is they feel like Conf is kind of nerfed into the ground in the mod, and they can't use it. At least, I don't want to put words in their mouths, you know, they can correct me if they think it's different, but that's the impression that I got. Right. I don't know. What do you think about that? Because in my opinion, Conf is really not bad in the mod. It's not changed very much, and it's definitely, you know, serviceable. But then again, I wasn't playing as them, was I? So I wasn't playing as them, was I? Well, Jaraci Cup 1 makes me very hopeful. Hopeful for a better DOK. No blast drone rushes, no turret shenanigans. Although people used blast drones, right? People used turrets, but it's just so much less broken. And I really liked it. I'm excited for the next one, and I'm really excited to see who's going to be the victor, what strategies are going to be pulled, whatever. I hope that people will do some research, you know, I hope that people will look into builds and like try and refine them. You know, I was playing with God Hates Weebs recently. He was like, hey, can I test this build with you? I was like, sure, you know, I'll do that anytime if I'm available. Just hit me up and I'll do that. Love to see people really look into like what is possible in the mod and try and refine their playstyle so that we can get the best gameplay possible in Jaraci Cup 2. We're coming up on kind of the climactic moment in this series too, or in this match too. This is kind of like where it all went in one player's direction. Yeah, quick note though, targeting jammer on a carrier, that doesn't work. That's fake news. People, like, did you see it launching missiles there? People keep telling me that's not true. That's fake news. It doesn't work. Anyway. Don't mind me. Frame rate plummeting. I'm getting like 17 frames right now. That's hilarious. But yeah, I was really happy with Jaraci Cup 1. I hope you were too. I hope you all enjoyed it. I did get around to casting it eventually, didn't I? But I think also the way that the tournament dragged on so long, that didn't help my casting, and then my not casting things didn't help the tournament speed up at all, and then, you know, next thing you know, it's been like a really long time. So I'm gonna avoid that mistake with Card Cup number 12. I'm gonna try to cast it, you know, as quick as I can. And that hopefully will make a big difference in this regard. I think we learned a lot from Jaraci Cup 1. I'm excited for the next one. I've said that like 5 times already, so you get it. So now you can watch the fireworks, I think, because I think this carrier is about to die. Maybe not. But even so, we'll watch just for a second, because it's so good looking. If you don't watch DOK in this view very often, you should try it. It's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. Well, that's probably good enough. Catch you guys next time.